Hey, Andy, Jamie, what's going on?
Hey Scott, thank you for that introduction. And hello, Jamie. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, Andy. What's happening over there? Kind of a
Uh,
what's this color? What's this pink red color in the market today? I don't know what that means.
oh, I know. We got a couple of days of kind of some pinkish red in there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Andy's Trading Studio. I am Andy, and I'm joined with Jamie. And yes, this is the Trading Studio, and we are on our second to the last day of our test drive. It's been a great one. Lot of good questions, and I do see that a lot of the people that are on the test drive are in here. So uh, I won't, even though I'm going to talk about some topics today, guys, we're going to leave the floor open for any questions that you might have because we are kind of winding down on our support for the test drive. Tomorrow will be the last day. We will have a Q&A tomorrow for those who can attend at 11 Eastern time. So be sure you make that. It'd be your last chance on this week anyway to get any questions in. But let's dive into the material for today. Before we do, let's go over the disclaimer real quick. Okay, just remember, everybody, we are content providers. This is for educational construed as investment advice. That is not our job. If that's what you're seeking, look for a registered advisor, a stockbroker, somebody who hangs that license. I see your question there. Camille wants me to talk about some options. I'll touch on that in just a little bit. I sure will. But before we do, let's talk about our 5-star support, education, and training sources for you to get help. We have webinars every day, Monday through Thursday at 5 Eastern time. These are interactive webinars where you can, even though we have content, it's open for you to ask questions. Okay, all of our webinars, you have access to the questions panel where you can ask the questions. All right, so Monday through Thursday, 5 Eastern time, we do have webinars in the traders room with Barry Einerson. That is a great place to learn more about the software. Great place if you're a trader and you want to trade alongside some great traders in there. Barry's a great trader, and he moderates the room, keeps it tame, and not only that, you see the software in action, and you hear Barry navigate the market as he calls out his trades. But when he's not trading, he is a great resource for you to go to. A lot of people will come to me or Jamie and say, hey, I was in Barry's room and I need to know how to, we just said, go back and ask him. And they come back and say, wow, you're right, he helped me out. And so Barry loves doing that. He encourages you guys to ask questions in that trading room. And then, like I mentioned, we have Friday support session. Okay, these are every Friday at 11 Eastern time. Okay, they are scheduled for 3 hours. We usually, wind things down after about 2 hours. Seems like people have gotten all their questions answered, but great place to come and learn more about the product. And even though the last 2 weeks we have not been doing the live version of TI University, I have pointed a lot of people to our playlist on our YouTube channel where you can find this recorded. And if you are in here today and you haven't seen this, I encourage you to watch it this weekend if you plan on signing up when the big sale comes. So, but if you want to hang out and wait till next week, you can come to these live TI University classes. They start with 101 on Monday at 12 Eastern. The rest of them are in the same time slot. And we have 201 on Tuesday, 301 on Wednesday, and then 401 advanced on Thursday. So be sure, guys, and this is, if you come to the live one, that's also obviously open up the Q&A, something that you're not going to find on the webinar. I'm sorry, on the YouTube. All right. The paper trader, excuse me, guys. I'll have to get a drink of water here. A lot of people have been getting some great feedback on the paper trader. All right, this is live and open to everyone now. You do not have to have a broker connection. All right, you do not have to fund an account. All right, you use our little brokerage plus module to execute your trades, and For those in the test drive, you have had access to the Holly AI and been able to auto trade that if you'd like. I hope you've been participating in that. So this is a great way to test your strategies, your trading, your portfolio management skills. And that may sound like a funny phrase for active trading, but really there's no reason why with commissions free that you can't have, manage a little portfolio now and may have multiple positions, and just kind of like we've been kind of teaching you, tend the garden, weed out the bad trades and fertilize the good trades. All right, not sure how you fertilize a trade, Jamie, but it sounded good. All right, let's look at the agenda for today.
Stuff we need to work on there, Andy. How do you fertilize?
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe adding to a position. There you go.
I think you just invented a whole new topic: trade fertilization.
There excuse me. All right, agenda for today: market recap. Market has seemed a little apathetic lately, so we'll see where that's going to take us. Looks like everything's still intact, but I'm just noticing the price action over the last few days. It hasn't been a lot of umph, but we'll talk about that. Holly recap. Boy, the AI has been doing, we'll probably change this to the AI recap pretty soon here. Seems like we're trying to phase out a little bit of Holly, but nonetheless, we'll talk about that. Jamie will take over and go over a few trades there where there was some good ones. I may touch on a little bit of weeding the garden when it comes to the AI, because that seems to be the catchphrase when it comes to trading the AI. Thank you, Jamie, for answering all those questions. I'll touch on them. Another option question coming in. All right, and then I'm just going to talk, guys, we've been really busy this week. Sean's been out, Jamie's been busy with some stuff, and Steve took off on me today. But I did put together some content. This is basic, simple content, trader content. And so it's just a simple alert that I built for somebody the other day who came back to me and said, man, he loved it. He's killing it with it. There's nothing to this alert except great trades coming through. But I'm going to talk about how you see these trades, how you can take an idea and decide on what to do with it, and most importantly, manage it. All right, then I'm going to talk a little bit about bottom fishing, a tough game. I've touched on this idea before, so I'm going to give you maybe a strategy. It's so tempting when you see a stock that at one time was trading in the stratosphere and has been beaten up. A lot of people look at that chart and say, boy, if I can buy it down here and it goes back from whence it came, I could be rich. Well, it is a tough game, and I'm going to maybe give you some ideas of how to participate in something like that without a whole lot of risk. All right, with that said, let's back out of this and dive into the market recap here. Oh, that's ugly. Yeah. All right, here is the SPYs. All right, and look what we have here, guys. Like I said, the last 3 days, we have 3 red candles, okay? But with that being said, we have defended the fast line now, which we have been defending now for about, oh gosh, looks like about almost a month and a half there. So once again, it feels like we're getting tired up here. Kind of, like I said, apathetic trading today. It just could not get any movement higher. Tried to sell off a couple of times like we did yesterday, only to catch the, right below shake people out below the 10-period moving average and bounce back up. This is why we love the 10-period moving average, guys. You can see that has just kind of been a forcing hand. And so far, the price action has held below that. Now, with that being said, if we get a close below that, below the 10-period moving average, things could get a little bit sketchy. Maybe we want to pull back and test the 20-period moving average, which would fall in line with a lot of this congestion going back on the chart there. And y'all, hold on just a minute. I don't know why my mom locked the dog in here. No, Mama, I called him. My wife, mommy. All right, hold. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, I think if we do break this and close below this 10 period, we may want to come down here and check out this level of interest, all this congestion back over here, just right around the 20 period moving average. But gosh, not really a bear case other than we're just kind of getting tired. Look here, 3 days here, the volume is a little bit higher than what we saw on this move up here. So could be some people taking advantage of these high prices. Been a good year. Sometimes you get some people taking profits early, getting ready for the holidays. But nothing, like I said, no bear case. I'm not going to beat this to death because it's kind of the same thing we've been preaching over the last couple of weeks here, 2 or 3 weeks. Well, we'll take a look at the Qs real quick. And pretty much a little bit more weak there. I mean, you can already see the Qs are back in this congestion and below their 10 period moving average. So it did close below there. So we'll see if there's any continuation with that. The diamonds, real quickly, they took a hit the other day because of Home Depot and still has not recovered. Looks a lot like the Qs below the 10 period moving average there. And once again, guys, we have to keep an eye on this IWM. It still can't get anything going. And now you can see it was a close today below the 10 period and the 20 period. It has been holding this real nicely every time it gets down to this level. Seems to be a lot of buyers coming in. You can see 1, 2, 3 wicks there. But like I said, closing, we're in the lower part of this range. We got like a little channel here that we're in. We're in the lower part of it. We'll see if we can hold basically almost a month low going back to this day right here. If we can hold that level, if not, this, this could go right back into, the funk. Right in the middle of this range again, which, boy, it's really surprising that we can have the move that we've had in the other indices and IWM still not want to play. But not going to write it off. I know it was the trade of the week and still holding up as far as the channel goes, but I don't want to see it close below this level because then, yeah, we're right back in no man's land. All right. I'm not sure, Stephen, what TI 30 on up moves. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, I don't have that. If it's an alert window, I don't have it. You may have gotten it from one of our affiliates or another trader, but I don't have access to that. Jamie, anything that you'd like to add to the overall market?
No, I was just kind of joking around earlier about the pink red color. Obviously, we've had 3 consecutive down days now. Looking at yesterday's wick, though, didn't quite get down to the bottom of yesterday's low. So, I mean, this looks like we're settling into this upper range now, What, 7 consecutive up? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could call that 7 consecutive up days. Now 3 down days, testing the low of the range. Don't have my crystal ball out, but wouldn't surprise me to see a little green day tomorrow. But we'll see what transpires.
Yeah, there you go.
It is Friday.
That's true. It is Friday. And before I have all the trades here in the well, I forgot to restart it. Let me just go ahead and put them in real quick before I pass it on to you to kind of break down each trade here. We'll put all the trades in here, and I'll put all the trades in my segments over here. And the order of the day was conservative profit, which means if you adhere to each and every one of Holly's exit reasons, okay, today you fared better, okay? So in other words, if I look at conservative, up third. Now, this is unfair. I'm gonna subtract $600 from this because we had duplicate EXPL, okay? There would be no reason to take 2 trades in that. I guess if you, theoretically, if you were auto trading, I guess you would have gotten it twice, but if it came through a different segment, which it would have. Yeah, it would have been a different segment. But anyway, even if you took out 600, it's still a nice day there at around $700 based upon my 200 risk stop loss. So, but once again, guys, if you look here, okay, the winners did not outnumber the losers by that much. Once again, it's not all about winning percentage, okay? It's your average winner versus your average loser. And when you are adhering to your stops, when you are, you know, maybe reducing risk or flatting a trade that didn't work, I noticed a lot of these trades, if I, which one was it? There was a couple. Yeah, this is a great example. Okay, TLRY. Okay, there was the entry. It ran up. Okay, Holly said, boy, if it, you know, had this red bar and then we rolled back over, took out the low, and Holly said that was enough. She basically flatted it, and you can see this closed much lower. So I think it eventually went down to the stop. So in this case today, conservative profit was the best. And you know, the market being like it was today, kind of funky and trading down, yeah, that doesn't really surprise me. But anyway, Jamie, I just kind of wanted to point that out. It goes about letting your winners run, okay, cutting your losers. Boy, you fared well today.
Absolutely, and you know, the way Holly makes exits, you know, on a trending day, typically her risk, well, I can't say risk off anymore because we changed the name to conservative profit, but it's the same thing. You know, on these soft days is typically when you see the conservative risk mode do better, okay? Because obviously Holly comes to the party with a little bit of a long bias most of the time because of the market that we're in. But hey, we're going to have our red days as clearly indicated by the past 3 days. So you got to go down before you can go back up. So yeah, I mean, there are some risk on, or what I should say call moderate profit, some spread between moderate profit and conservative profit today. So I can go ahead and grab it from you, Andy, and I can showcase those trades.
That'd be great, Jamie.
Give me 1 second here. Okay, I believe should be good now.
Yep, got it.
Make sure you can't see all my unicorns back there. There we go, pretty ponies and whatnot. Okay, so here I have the entire trade blotter for all 3 Holly modules up and running. And you know, as Andy was telling us, these two, 1.0 and 2.0 conservative, of course, Neo being the more aggressive of the trio, did a little bit better with moderate risk, which would be the equivalent of old risk on. So what I've done, you know, whereas it used to be risk off, risk on, now it's conservative profit in this column here. Looking at the spread between, if there is any, between what we see in conservative profit and moderate profit indicating how the position did going into the close, but could have been a little bit higher or lower intraday and not be reported here because this is holding into the close, so whatever the stock closed at. Now, once again, double trade and XPEL, we'll see this from time to time. This is one that issued at the exact same time from different modules with the same strategy. Other times we'll see different strategies from different modules trade the same stock at completely different times, right? But in this case, it was an exact duplicate. So as Andy was saying, we can just kind of exclude one of these. But the XPEL in and of itself with conservative profit, not doing too bad there, finishing up 6.6%. Not that big of a multiple spread, $300 versus $380, and that is based on me using a stop loss, risking $100, as you can see here in my settings. I think Andy said he was on 200. I'm just risking 100. That's why my numbers are going to be a little bit different than Andy's. Double, or half, I should say. So what we're really looking for in these cases is the larger spread percentage-wise between conservative and moderate. So this short right here in Cub, we have here, well behaved, going sideways for most of the day, but giving it up in the very end. So we can see here, Holly in conservative mode executed her profit save. She's using that trade all of what appears to be right here, 17 minutes. So not that long. Did she tolerate the sideways action here? Looking $33 on that $100 risk. But you can see, I mean, it pretty much just talk about this one. Once it has your attention and you're in it, very long consolidation, a lot of the times we'll see them consolidate for 3 or 4 of these 15-minute candles before making their move. This one took a little while. So we got Holly's entry right here at 59.88. You're in the trade with Holly. That's the first gold star. Check out the volume on how Cubic Corp closed today. I mean, that's a massive relative volume, finishing the day at 16. Little guy only usually trades not even 250,000 shares, but kicked out almost 2.4 million today. Big multiple. And clearly the seller was there with the gap down, the initial selling, and then they have to slice it and dice it for the rest of the day. Definitely more than likely some institutional selling in this one today. But it sets up really nice at the end of the day as it breaks this tight range that it's set up for today. So if you're in the trade, or even if you weren't in the trade, this would have been a great entry right here as that thing cracks. Got a nice little move there for a scalp, or adding to your all-day position there. Looking at the daily over here, yeah, I mean, we're going to be running into some potential support here, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But all in all, a very solid, manageable move with the opportunity to leverage that position as well. Hell, even if you entered when Holly exited, as I've talked about many times in the past in office hours, you know, you pretty much could have gotten the same price as Holly when you saw her getting out and going, okay, I've seen this before. Sometimes they take a little while to get going, so plenty of time to hop into this one, whether you initially with Holly or whether you saw her committing an exit and going, you know what, I think this thing still looks good. I'm gonna get in now, and you know, potentially even a better price than the AI on a couple of ticks here. So really good one in Cub to the tune of about 3x. You know, not quite 3x, but almost there. Looks like we had some pretty good stuff, and I love it because Holly shorted. Holly, there we go again, Andy. I mean, Holly's just ingrained into our brains. Yeah, the AI, I should say. Really great entry price right here in the first 15 minutes. And boy, got a little spike up there, threw a little bit of a wiggle, but not quite up to the stop loss area before capitulating. And really, man, in the next hour, just getting the most out of that trade. If you covered some there, congratulations. But the bottom line is, you know, what did we see come out today, Andy? The buyout between Schwab and TD Ameritrade potentially occurring. Well, market didn't like, you know, E-Trade got pounded for some reason on that, and it's good to see our AI figging this stock on the short side and having it work pretty darn well throughout the day here. So kudos to the AI. On this one, we got 1667 versus 129, so a big multiple there, and we can see right here the little highlighted area. That's where Holly pulled the plug on profit save. You know, it doesn't look like your typical profit save, or what I should say, conservative early out there, Andy. Yeah, a little bit of consolidation in 15-30 minutes before it really broke down. Once again, where do my eyes immediately go? We're in nice and early from Holly, have to sit in it for about another not quite 30 minutes there because it broke during that time, but that's a nice little opening range break right there. So once again, could have added to that position, or even, you know, when Holly's making that profit save exit, I mean, that was the most opportunistic time of the day for the most bang for your buck on that immediate move down there. So once again, same type of setup as the Cub, but this one just happened a lot sooner, right? 45-minute consolidation here versus an all-day consolidation that we saw in the Cub way over here. So whether you went initially with Holly or whether you saw her hitting that profit save and going, hey, this looks like the best time. We have the statistical probability back here. We got the range break occurring now. Oh, how about the volume? Well, looky here. Finishes almost at 11 on the relative side, and you could, you know, at all times of the day, that 5-minute volume as well as the 1-minute volume were just, you know, off the hook, which we all know volume isn't a guarantee, but it can sure help our trade along in the right direction, just like the water in the river. Faster it's flowing, if you pick the right direction, you're gonna get there quick versus, you know, just kind of chugging along there. Now, one other little thing I want to point out here about market direction, okay, before I pass it back to Andy here. You may have heard us talk about how paper trading with trade ideas is really going to allow everyone, me, Andy, everybody that uses it, a new way to perceive data in the stock market. Okay, so it didn't take a genius to figure out that the wind was not blowing north today. We had a good southerly wind blowing, right? So if you're a stock and you're heading north, is it going to be easier to stay up at highs? You're going into the wind, right? Not so much. So you could ask yourself the question, hey, on these stocks that are busting out of different time periods, is there going to be more pullback or more follow through? All right, well, the easy answer today, because the day is over, was there's going to be more pullback because we're heading into a headwind. Andy, I live in Texas now, but I lived in Cali for a while. So over the past 12 years, I've spent a lot of time flying back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're going from Texas to California, sometimes it'll take you 3 hours and 15 minutes because you're going against the jet stream.
That's right.
Wind coming out of the Pacific Ocean. And when you're going back from California, man, you can get there in 2.5 hours back to Texas sometimes because you're going with that jet stream. It's the same thing here, ladies and gents. And actually, I should have started this strategy at 11 o'clock my time today, but I was very forgetful today, and I didn't start it till almost noon. So we really didn't have many hits, but look at what happened to the hits that we did have, and this is shorting stocks hitting a 250-day high. Didn't knock it out of the ballpark today, but they're all green, right? And it only piled into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so once again, usually if I would have started this strategy at 11, we'd have a lot more positions and we'd have a lot more green. I just kind of blanked out today, but I got in the habit of doing this. First time I ran it, I didn't know what was going to happen, right? But after 20, 30 sessions, I can pretty much tell based on some other opening metrics in the direction of the market, should I run this strategy short or should I run it long, right? And the only way that I learned how to do that was by watching what it did in certain market conditions. So anyway, don't want to wax too long about that because I know you got some good stuff, Andy, but this is the way things are headed. And Andy, you've been doing this too.
Mm-hmm.
You probably just got slightly different strategies, a long and a short, but the concept is all the same. And as you said again in a few webinars back, it's about knowing when to turn on certain strategies. We can really simplify it into those terms. You've got an arsenal of strategies. Okay, which ones should I run and which directions should I run them? I really think that that's where the game is going, so to speak. But anyway, the good news is we're just in the infantile stages of this new game. So there's plenty of time to get in there and get educated about how to take advantage of these zero commissions once we get ported to a zero commission broker-dealer.
Absolutely. Great job, Jamie.
Thank you very much. Kick it back over to you.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned what you're doing there. You're fading stocks at all-time highs at a certain time. It's you're implementing a contrarian strategy, and I'm seeing a lot of weird stuff. I was talking to Michael about this today, in our back channel, and just how things don't. Let me give you an example. Just don't make it sense. Let me show my screen real quick. This is a good example. Is JKS the other day, 2 days after earnings. Now, and you hear Steve talk about this all the time. Well, I'm starting to put less emphasis on candlesticks, not like I used to. As a matter of fact, I watched a video the other day of a money manager saying that he cannot, he's lost faith in technical analysis. I haven't gone that far, but in the shorter term, it has less, like I said, emphasis on my trading as it used to. This is a great example, is JKS the day after earnings. Okay, this is what we call a topping tail. Okay, almost a shooting star there. If it wasn't for the, kind of a too big of a wick for that, but ran up to 1770 and then pulled back all day and closed around 1640 in the 40s. Now, typically, if I'm in something like this, and I did, I'm going to be honest with you, I traded this on 2 days ago. Let me just pull the chart up. but I got greedy because this was the earnings day right here. It ran up, it pulled back to the fast line. I got in. Okay, I said, man, this is doing huge volume. You can see the volume bar. It's doing huge volume. I entered half a position right here. And my old school logic was once right here, it broke out. Okay, it broke out of this level, kind of broke out of this consolidation, if you will. And so what I did is I added to my position. And unfortunately, what happened is, boom, it came and then got an ugly close there, and I got stopped out on the close. And I was kind of happy because I'm telling myself, oh, that's just an ugly, you know, topping tail. Well, you wouldn't expect the next day on a pattern like this, historically, you would not expect it to gap up and run almost back to the, you know, highs the next day. That's the kind of stuff you've seen. I've seen stocks like have good earnings and they'll sell off the all day of earnings only to gap up the next day and you see it moving higher. It's just, I don't know whether it probably is. It's high frequency trading algorithms. There's so many algorithms in the market that the big picture, I look at technical analysis, but when it comes to a lot of the, you know, 1 day things and 2 day things, candlesticks, I'm trying to not, you know, give them as much attention. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out because it made me angry because here I looked and it was much higher today. So I'm going to focus more on closing prices than the actual candlesticks. All right, so let me ask a few questions here. Okay, Camille says, can you explain how to enter? And you guys bear with me. We do have a lot of people in here that are still on this or just signed up recently. Okay, so if I don't get to all of the subjects I was going to talk about today, just don't worry about it. I will get to them next week. Well, there's basically real quick, Camille, there's two ways. Okay, if you see. If you want to do it manually, okay, you saw this XBell this morning, come trigger on Holly, you want to get in it, you can right click, trade XBell, and you can just go and buy 100 shares at market. You can short if you want to. If a short comes out, you can see we have a couple of these programmed in for you, or you can see I have some strategies built in there. I can trade it manually using the strategies, my risk parameter strategies that I have set up in my Brokerage Plus. Okay, you can see I have a couple of strategies in here. Well, these are already preset with risk parameters set in that I can just right click and trade it. Or another way to do it is you can auto trade. In other words, you can set up, I'm not going to go over, I can send you a video later if you want to, if you send it to info, if you want a video on how to do this, but you can set up your strategies to auto trade the Holly AI, okay, in paper trade. So there's a couple of ways to do it there. And there was one other, somebody was asking, I'm not going to scroll back to see who it is because we have a lot of questions coming in, but somebody was asking about options. Well, what you can do is go to any A window. Anytime you want to do a search on anything of interest, you got to have the search term that is going to kind of pinpoint it for you. In this case, the word is options. All right, we don't have a whole lot, okay? We're not like option monster or something like that, okay? We have some basic option stuff. You're not going to find any certain strike price stuff and stuff like that. That would take tons and tons of more servers for us to do. But we do have some put call ratios. One I like is the option volume percentage today. But if you just type in options, you'll see what we have. And, you know, for me, when it comes to options, it's just a choice of whether you want to trade options or, yes, you got, I think, did I close that out? I'm sorry. Pull it up again. Or did I just minimize it? I don't know. Let's pull it up again. All right, yeah, you got call volume today and contracts. You don't have a percentage for call and put, but you have contracts. You can look and see how many contracts are being traded. But you're not going to find anything like on iron condors, butterflies, and things like this, like you'd find on some of your big option platforms. Okay, we specialize in equities, but to me, You know, if you have a high-low ticker, you know, and you see something coming through and it trades options, for me, it's just you can always buy the options versus the common as long as it's they have options. But our technology is not going to show you if they do or not. You're going to have to go through your broker for that. All right, moving on here. Let's see if I got any more here I need to answer. All right, looks good. Okay, I got time here. So I don't know if the guy's in here or not, but I had a guy the other day. It was about 3 or 4 days ago that he was asking. He just wanted to see something where a stock is showing good continuity, you know, on several time frames. You know, how could he find something that's he was mostly interested in day trading, but so he wanted to see something that was just, you know, performing well for the day, and give him, you know, some ideas of maybe what he should buy, maybe, you know. So we built something very simple, but he came back to me a couple of days later and he said, wow, man, I'm up 10%, you know, today, but just trading your alert. Now, this is not going to be earth shattering, okay? I'm sure you can find a lot of these in a lot of alerts, but it's something that's real simple that we built. So I named it continuity after what he was looking for. We'll just pull this up. So basically, I wanted to build something simple, and that's exactly what I did, okay? And if we look here at the configuration, you are going to see it is very simple, okay? It's just a new high alert. Sorry, reading another question. Let me click on this. Okay, the stock needs to be up at least 1% from the close. I want something that's moving on the day, not just above its 15-period SMA and not going anywhere, slopping around. But look how simple this is. Price is over $5, needs to be up 1%, and average daily volume 500,000. I'm looking for liquid stocks. So it's pretty simple, you know. It's pretty basic, but man, you can catch some really good stuff coming through. Now, today's might not be a good example as we pull up the history, but we'll just take a look at some of these charts. And let me do something here. I want to add a column here. I want to add a column to see, because what I'm noticing, if you guys will keep an eye on this, let's see the change from the 15 SMA. Because if a stock is exhibiting really, really strong strength, strong strength, it is going to take off before it touches the 15-period moving average. Okay, so what I like to do is keep a little column open over here so you can catch those stocks that take off before. We show you these all the time. Let me show you a good example today. Let's take a look at the history of this today. Now, a lot of these things, because of the market, just kind of petered out, but nonetheless, when he was using it, a few days ago, the market was a lot stronger. Probably need to add an ETF in here, but there's tons coming through here today. So I'm going to go back and do. Let me add an ETF in here, because I'm probably going to end up. I'm going to eliminate the ETFs. And what I'm doing here is just a little hack where you guys can do the same thing with any of the filters or alerts that you build. Just come in here and put a 0.01 in the minimum, a negative 0.01 in the max, and what that's going to do is filter out any ETFs. It's basically telling the algo to ignore stocks that are not reporting earnings. Okay, so it's very simple. Don't ask me how it logically figures that out, but it does. Okay, so let's run a history today. And you're going to see there's a lot of stuff coming through here. But all of them are going to be up 1%, and they're going to be above the moving average. You can always come in here and put a volume filter in it, but I tell you, looking at some of these things move today, let me go back, go do more here, so we can get back earlier in the day. let's go do a configure, and let's go put at least a relative volume of, let's just do 1. We've got it in there. Yeah, let's do 2, just to eliminate some of the noise. But I think you got to be careful with this, and the reason I'm seeing a lot of good stocks having a great move on on low volume. It's kind of strange. I don't know if it's just the way the market's acting this lately, but be careful with how much relative volume you're requiring for a stock to move, because it will. I have seen a lot move on lower volume, lower than 2%. And one that was doing it today, which I'm not seeing in here right now. Let me see. Yeah, it's not in here. And I noticed this today is Twitter. So if you're not, you can see it was relative volume was 1.5. So, but look at this incredible move it had in the morning. I mean, just bam, just look all morning long, and you can see it's not coming through. This morning in my alert that I was using, I didn't have a volume filter, and the thing was cruising all morning. But anyway, let's take a look at some of these. Let's take a look at Lyft. And this is why I want to say, if you're trading stocks that are having decent momentum, you might not want to use a happen in a lot of cases. They are going to go when they don't even get anywhere near their moving average. You can look at this Lyft here and look at this. This is over 3% above its 10-period moving average. It's fast line on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so when you see something like this come through and you're using a column like this, that's telling you right there, this thing is so strong, it's not even getting anywhere near the fast line as it approaches. Now, it's common to see this kind of in the morning, early in the morning, but keep an eye on that. See, this one was kind of close and it really didn't go anywhere. That's probably a horrible example. That's an ugly looking stock there. Let's take a look at Ruby here. Yeah, that one didn't work. Today was probably not a great day. I'm still got to go around get closer to 9 o'clock, so you're not getting a lot of these head fakes. I like to wait for that 30-minute mark and see, and then catch the ones that are going through. There can be a lot of noise in the first 15 minutes. And look at all that stuff coming in the first 15 minutes. Okay, let's take a look at this Quran here at 9 o'clock. That's a great example right there. Okay, you have after 30 minutes, look how far away. It's 6% away from its fast line, but look at the follow through it had after that. So I wanted to point this out. In other words, don't feel like you have to wait for these things to touch. If there's a lot of momentum behind them, they are going to take off before they get close to the moving average there. Let's take a look here. There's another one. It did pull back a little bit, but finally got going. Stayed above that fast line all day. There's another great one. Even though the daily looks like crap, that looks like one of the ones that Holly traded today. I don't know if it is or not. No, I guess we don't know about that. But look at the volume. This one was doing some great volume. Look at that move, even though this one's a little bit closer, but a nice little trade there. Take a look at Uber here at 9:02, over 3% above. Nice little follow through, and then kind of got wiki. You're going to see a lot of these as the day went on and the market started falling apart. LK at 9:02, a little bit kind of sloppy move there. But keep an eye on these ones that are away from their moving average. Okay, in other words, when you, and I'm going to share this with you guys, but you can see there's tons of stuff coming through here, so you might want to take it and put the filters in there that are important to you. But be careful with the relative volume, because I'm starting to see some pretty darn good moves on stocks that are not doing, you know, really high relative volume. Let me put a relative volume me put a relative volume column in there so you can at least see what's happening. There we go. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to share this with you guys, and like I said, it's a very simple. Okay, there's no nothing really secret sauce to this at all. It's a very basic alert, but and you can always come in here and put some daily filters in there, maybe assure that it's breaking out of a 10-day range. But today, boy, you caught, you know, things like Twitter, Uber. A lot of the bottom fishing stocks were taking off, you know, and even though a lot of them kind of failed there toward the close, you might want to be careful because this market has a way of doing some stupid rotation with the strong stocks. All of a sudden they quit and they start selling off, and then you have all this money going into these beaten up stocks. Just a phenomenon I see pretty regularly. So let me share this with you. Save and share, and you can take it and do what you want to with it, but it's a pretty basic. Come on, chat panel open. Continuity. May have misspelled that. I don't know. There we go. All right. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Waleed. Like I said, I've shared better in the past, but this was one I kind of wanted to do for the people for the test drive, just something that they can look at, very basic, that are going to have, you know, some some good trades coming through. The whole key is, and I wanted to make a point about this too, when it comes to trading, you're going to get a lot of ideas, you know, coming through, some of the alerts that we built, some of the alerts that you've built on your own. But, you know, it's all going to come down to man and machine. You're going to have to take these ideas and decide what you want to do with them. Do you want to trade it? Do you want to pass? And then you got to manage it. You know, take, you know, Twitter example today. You know, it just was a great move this morning, and you had a nice little red bar ignored right here after 4 consecutive bars, and then powered higher. If you're looking at this daily, I could see where some may want to pass on something like that. You know, it's failed a lot of times, and this is going to be my next topic real quick if I have time. But you know, it all comes down to, you know, taking a look at the trade, deciding what you want to do with it, and then when you do make that decision to buy or sell, you know, then you have to manage it from there. Because a lot of these alerts coming through can be great trades, and a lot of them may not work. But it's just like Holly, you know, manage them, manage the trades, weed the garden. So one last topic here real quick, guys, because, and I think this is a good topic for a lot of people, because I'm this way. It's human nature to be this way. You know, when you see a stock like Twitter that's been beaten up, and you're looking up here and say, wow, it was $45 a couple of months ago. Now it's on sale down here around 30. First off, Steve and I, we talk about this all the time. You know, on that first day, you know, don't try to be a hero. Occasionally you'll find some stocks, for whatever reason, will take off and just start running the first day. But in most cases, you're going to get action like this, where it's going to, for a month, just slop around and bleed and try to build a base. That's what Twitter's trying to do. Another good example I know a lot of people are probably trying to dive into is Beyond. Okay, once again, this morning, nice little volume, people thinking, oh man, I've caught the bottom, only to have it, you know, turn around, sell off. I could pull up probably a dozen of these, but I'm going to use this too as an example, because it is tempting. Okay, it is tempting, and just like on our call on Roku the other day, which I actually participated in, on this one right here. Okay, this didn't base as long as what we're seeing in Twitter and Beyond, but still, it was trying to develop a with that dog when I get off this thing. Uh, and you know, it's tough. It's real tough, and I guarantee you, more people get hurt trying to play this game than finally hit the big one and make money once they do catch that bottom. Now, what I have done a lot in the past, and I still do occasionally, even though I haven't been trading options as much as I used to, when I see an area down here and I want to take a chance, instead of sitting here and buying and getting stopped out and buying, getting stopped out, because you got to keep these tight. If you're wrong, okay, you need to get out quick. So instead of going in and buying a common, like somebody mentioned in here, you know, about options, this to me is a great place to buy, you know, longer term options. Maybe go, if you think the bounce coming, but it may sit down here and grind out another, you know, several weeks. Just go in and buy the options, okay? Even if it's like I said, 2 or 3 months out, small size. Okay, you can buy the options, and if it does get your bounce, you are going to get paid. And not only that, you can, you know, if you work it where you can actually hedge. In other words, where you can short the common, okay, because you're hedged by the options that you bought. So you could actually, you know, day trade. In other words, let's say you're long the options right here, and you're getting excited because you got this big move this morning, but you're like, oh man, you know, my options are going up, but I kind of want to hedge. You can put in this and make some money and just do a lot of head fakes and come right back down. But that's kind of getting, you know, you got to be at it all the time to do something like that, you know. But what I wanted to point out is be careful buying the common down here, because a lot of these take a lot of time before they do base. And sometimes they'll, you know, they won't, and they'll even go lower in many cases. Same thing goes with Beyond. It looks like to me it's trying to put in a base down here, but you have no idea when it's going to go. It's been going back and forth through this fast line now for a couple of weeks. So be careful. Let me see, what is Jamie? Got some questions coming in. Look, he's asking about custom filters. Yeah, that's something. You're probably going to need to send to info.
Yeah, he was just talking about if his main focus is that custom filter, what would be the best alert, right? So you get that alert quick in an alert window versus waiting for that 30-second refresh on the top list, or using the heartbeat or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So the best way to do it is to pick an alert, and, you know, attach that to your filter set that contains the custom, then go review the history, you know, put in running up now, running down now, put in some other alerts, and then go back and review the history and the charts. And before you know it, you'll see which one looks the best.
Very good. Yes, Jamie. Those are great. That's great ideas. All right, guys. That's it for today. I'm going to bring Scotty in, and he's going to walk us out of here while I go choke my dog. But all right, Scott, you want to come in and walk us out of here?
Thanks. A couple of things on the way out. Hope all the test drivers are enjoying the remainder of the test drive. And do a simulated trade if you're in the test drive. That way you are eligible to get a special discount coming up tomorrow after the close. There's a couple of ebooks that you guys should get. There's 3 of them, and you get them all at once. If you go to trade-ideas.com/setup, each one has 2 chapters. They were written. A couple chapters in them were written by Andy and Jamie, so you know it's good stuff. And there's cloud links in them to add to your layout. And they're free, by the way, so go get it. As a podcast, we'll probably have a new podcast up tomorrow, and you can also check out the archives and be ready to get the new one by searching for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts and just adding us as a subscription. So another free thing from Trade Ideas. What a value. Check it out. So there's a code. If you're ready to get started with a subscription right now and want to save 15%, paper trade, it's good to the end of the month, so keep that in mind. It's all caps, case sensitive. You can also use this to do an upgrade from standard to premium, so go ahead and try it out. Thanks, everyone. Any questions, email info@tradeideas.com. That's the best place to send any question. Jamie's at QuantBot on Twitter. Our Steve Gomez is at Today Trader. We also have at Trade Ideas. And Trade Ideas Pro is the Facebook handle to follow and like and share stuff. We're going to have this recording up later on tonight or tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for an email from GoToWebinar tomorrow with a link to the playback playlist. All right, thanks everyone. Thanks Andy. Thanks Jamie.
See you tomorrow.